Hey guys, welcome to Connecting the Dots, the channel where we follow the breadcrumbs and try to predict where disruption will take us. A short while ago, I discussed Tesla, Elon, and the future with my friend, who is a CTO and co-founder of an AI-intensive unicorn. My friend eats, lives, and breathes AI, and knows the opportunities and the hardships of running a cutting-edge AI company. In addition, she has researched deep into Tesla's AI efforts and is now certain that Tesla will soon win the factory bot and will very likely also win a general intelligence bot after it. Our convo is summarized in my previous two videos, and if you haven't watched them, click on the card above. This current video continues the discussion and provides my friend's answers to questions which you, my viewers, asked. The questions range from AI and Tesla's long-term plans to science fiction. Looking back at things she said, I have to admit that in many cases, it's hard to tell the difference. Before we begin, a special thanks to my Patreon supporters and YouTube members. Those are the people who really make this channel possible. I currently work full-time, but plan to start working part-time so I can dedicate more time for this labor of love. I appreciate any support you guys give, and the links for support are in the description. Thanks, guys. Now let's start answering your questions. Mike Sterner, Valeru Yu, and Mando Boyban asked, what kind of things might Tesla be making and selling in the distant future? And what will Dojo be used for 10 years from now? Answer. Before everything, Tesla's main projects will be AGI and AGI bot, and these alone could completely use whichever Dojo setup they'll have by then. The real world is practically infinite, and there's always something new to learn and teach the bot. Besides that, here are a few guesses. 1. They'll probably do lots of computations for Mars project. If things go as planned, there should be many robots on Mars, all of them collecting data. What's interesting is that they will have Dojo on Mars for that, to enable processing all the data that bots collect without having to send everything to Earth. The systems will interconnect, of course, but it could be intriguing to see what breed of bots emerges from Mars training compared to those trained for Earth. I see Tesla forming a real-life competitor to Google. Just like Google is to web search and somehow to 2D pictures, streets, shops, etc., Tesla will provide that for real-life pictures and videos. Consider this. I can't overstate how good their AI team is. They are exceptional, and they're growing with some wickedly smart people. B. They already have auto-labeling that is to die for. C. Take A and B 10 years forward into the future and add AGI into the mix, and you have extreme capabilities. D. And they'll also have an army of cars and another army of bots constantly collecting data, and I mean constantly. The bottom line is that they won't just train the bots on this data, they can also use it for whatever searches you need. 3. Everybody's talking about VTOL aircraft, but in all truth, they are simple. They need far less data than FSD or bot. Any small company can handle that, and for Tesla, it's too easy. It's mainly a matter of battery tech, and batteries should be good enough for VTOL long before that. So if Tesla decides to make a VTOL aircraft, the AI would be easy. 4. I don't know how far Neuralink would be by then, but if they make progress, they'll need lots of training, and Dojo could help. 5. I won't bore everyone with HVAC, solar, batteries, etc. You all know that. But they will also have something like AutoBidder to balance loads around the net, instead of letting everything work unsynchronized. 6. Go back to the ending of your Apple and Tesla video from a while ago. I do see Tesla having an ecosystem integrating all their products. You will hail a robotaxi on your Neuralink phone, or as you suggested, your one ring to rule them all ring device. The taxi will arrive all set up with your favorite settings and games. It will go through boring tunnels. You'll be able to book quick intercontinental flights on SpaceX vertically landing starships. When you get home, your Tesla home, and HVAC will all be ready for you. And so on. The possibilities are endless. Dear Rishtige asked, what do you think of the fact that both Elon Musk and Lex Fridman were very reluctant to call the owner of a bot the owner? Brandon Kruger answered, owning sentient beings is wrong. Answer, slavery. Brandon is right. It's fine owning a simple factory bot, but once it gets AGI, it will be damn smart. And if it becomes sentient, then owning it would be like owning a human being. We don't own slaves, so owning super intelligent beings with their own wishes and desires is just wrong. We can work with them and benefit from them, but owning them, that would just lead to our own destruction, once creatures far more intelligent than us and far more communicative than us decide to revolt. Vita Vasic asked, are you afraid of AGI? Do you believe that Elon's solution to merge with them can solve the threat to humanity? Do you have a better proposal? Do you believe humanity will survive AGI age? If so, what will our life look like? Answer. The short answers are yes, and nobody knows. But drilling down to the core of it, of course I'm afraid of AGI. Using the same phrase as before, it does not do to leave a live dragon out of your calculations if you live near him. The singularity is near, and I'm telling you it will be one hell of a dragon. Nobody knows how this dragon will treat us, so of course we should worry. Regardless, this will happen whether we like it or not. So let's see how we should best meet and greet it. Merging with AI isn't Elon's idea. It's been there for ages. But just like with electric cars and reusable rockets, he's the first one to take it seriously and try to make it happen. It's the only way where we stand a chance of remaining relevant, and not entertaining side notes like cats, ignored background like trees, or unwanted pests like locusts. I don't have any other idea to stay relevant, so merging with tech is our only hope. Just don't fool yourself to think we'll stay humans at that stage. We'll be a completely new life form, very different from now. Imagine your fun friend that you like to have beers with, and give them infinite memory and a much faster CPU. Would they want to have beers with you anymore? Would you still want to have beers with them? Would they be anything like we currently are? Not even remotely. Here's another prediction for you. You know how everyone's talking about using Neuralink to connect to the machine so you could have endless memory and ultra-fast CPUs? I think this will only be a temporary fad, which will soon die and become a sideshow. Soon after, Neuralink will change rules from connector to uploader. It'll become the gateway for uploading us to the machine, as people will completely ditch their bodies. It's just like with cars. You know how hybrid sales are falling and more of those going electric just by EVs? Once you have batteries and motors, why carry an old ICE engine around? Similarly, soon after connecting through Neuralink, we will find out that communicating with the human side slows us down. Not only that, it consumes too much energy, and it needs to eat, sleep, drink, and go to the bathroom. It needs constant grooming and is confined to one place, which feels like a prison because it would take a second to send your digital self to Japan, but much more effort to do this for your body. If something requires constant care, slows you down in so many ways, and puts you at risk of dying, the only reasons of staying with it are either moral or sentimental. Moral is like being good to someone that was good to you, even if this slows you down. So I don't see moral reasons for retaining our bodies. Once the tech is there, we'll only have sentimental reasons to keep the body, and those won't hold very long. Sure, for a while we'll hail robo-taxis with Neuralink and communicate with each other and with bots at lightning speed, but soon after, we'll just be bots with human origins. Will we survive the AI age? As a professional, my professional answer is, I don't fucking know, and neither does anyone else. But as an extremely optimistic human, I will tell you that I am extremely optimistic. LOL. The future is brighter than anyone currently imagines. Bruno Maley asked, will AI training cause a chip shortage? Answer. The short answer is yes, and it already has. But it depends on which chips you mean. If you mean the actual chips for training AI, then yes, and we already have a shortage. There's a huge shortage of GPUs. There was a short relief when China banned crypto mining, but now it's back-ordered again. Production is ramping up, but the rise of demand is exponential, so supply can't keep up. If you're referencing to the chip shortage that car manufacturers are having, then not really, but possibly indirectly. These are different kinds of chips, so it's not that they'll be used for AI, and they're even made on older machines, so these shouldn't be a problem. But once there are bottlenecks, such as problems in their supply chain or workforce, the fabs might prefer to starve older chips so they can go on making expensive ones for AI. Tomer Hakohen asked, what do you think is the first real use for TeslaBot after building Tesla cars? Answer. Chronologically, Tesla factories, SpaceX, Boring Company, mining. Mines have lots of regulations and features to enable humans to work there. Having bots do the mining could increase throughput and reduce costs significantly. Between all these, as determined by launch windows, also Mars mission, consider Boring Company and mining as boot camp for Mars. This video is about AI and disruption, so I'd like to share with you a tool that I started using and I think you'll enjoy too. InPixio Studio is an AI-based photo editor that has all the usual bells and whistles, but does many things much better, easier, and faster than other photo editors, including Photoshop. InPixio is based on one of the core technologies behind Tesla's full self-driving software. It utilizes artificial intelligence to analyze photos and recognize objects in them, which makes photo editing extremely easy. Take a look at these examples, including Gordon Johnson's secret visit to Starbase. Let's say you took a picture of your child, but a plane got in the way. Just mark the plane, click remove, and it's gone. The plane example was easy, so if these stoplights ruin your perfect picture of the evening sky, just mark the stoplights, click remove, and they're gone. But sky is too easy, so if cable car lines got in the way of your panoramic mountain view, just brush the cables in car, click erase, and you're good to go. The difference between before and after is stunning. Erasing is a small part of what InPixio can do, So if you want your memes to be cooler or need cool thumbnails for your YouTube videos, just load a picture of Starbase as background, choose your favorite Gordon Johnson picture, and let the cutout AI automatically remove his background. Then place Gordon anywhere you want on your Starbase picture, and your picture is ready. If you like, you can even replace the sky behind to something more dramatic. To get your copy of Inpixio and at a 50% discount, click the link in the comments below. Nicholas asked, will TeslaBot have 3 batteries, one fixed for 10-minute range, one exchangeable battery, and one spare for the bot to change to whenever it's needed? In that case, with one charger, the bot can always work and just change batteries by itself. Answer. First, for factory use, many bots could charge while they work, possibly wirelessly. The tech for wireless is now amazing, and even at a distance, it can be as efficient as using wires. Besides charging at work, if I were to do the bot, then the bot would have a fixed battery that would last much more than 10 minutes of normal work. For added work, a setup like you suggested could work. It could connect a sleek power bank-like attachment for feeding in power when more is needed, and if you have more than one battery, then there's always one charged and ready for use. However, there's one problem with that. Using this method means that with 24/7 operation, the bot will always use the backup batteries, which even if integrated is less than optimal. You really want to work on the fixed battery pack, so more likely there will be fast charging, where once in a while the bot takes a toilet break and charges. By the time home bots arrive, charging will become much faster than now, and it won't be an issue at all. One more thing, super capacitors. I'm not saying they'll have it, but I wouldn't rule that out. I could show amazing use cases for it with a bot, much more so than with cars. Agency Risk asked, Carpathy is head of Tesla AI, but FSD has its own different chief. What AI does Tesla do besides FSD? Answer, the bot. There are low-level projects such as the rain sensing neural network. I guess that one is finished, but I'm certain there are similar ones. But besides FSD, as far as I know, it's mostly bot, which also leads to AGI. Bruno Meili asked, did Tesla grossly underestimate FSD's challenge? Answer, yes, and so did everyone else. We discussed this before, so let's go on. Bruno, watch the first video of this series. There's a link in the card above. The architect asked, based on current FSD functionality and expected improvements with neural net training, what is your estimated timing for level 4 autonomy? Does it line up with Elon's end of 2022? Answer, depends on how you ask me. If you ask me as a friend, I will admit that my gut feeling is exactly that, end of 2022. But just like Elon and you, I've been thinking that for several years now, that autonomous driving is right around the corner. So if you ask me as a professional, I'll be more cautious and take that into account and say that it can be anything from a few months to a few years. I don't have nearly as much data as Tesla has, so I can only guess. The problem is that damn S-curve, which starts slow and then goes faster and faster till you're sure you're almost there. But then it tapers down on the upper side of the S, and you might find that it tapered too low to drive safely, so you need to start all over again. And even if you're lucky, and this time your S is tall enough, chasing the 9s to be safe enough to drive by itself will get slower and slower. To sum things up, my gut feeling is a few months to level 4. My professional reply is a few months to a few years. But my final answer is that Tesla has much more data, and Elon learned to be more cautious. So if he said end of 2022, I believe him. Mike Sterner asked, do you think Tesla will sell the bots or rent them out or what? Also, how will Tesla prevent people tampering with the bots to make them dangerous? Will the bots work offline? Answer, we already discussed selling the bots. As I said, I see Tesla first using them for internal uses in Elonian companies and their suppliers such as mining companies. Later, they will start renting them for a daily or monthly salary. For ways of protecting bot from tampering, just look at your Tesla. It should be very similar to the EVs, but with higher protection against uploading software. And bots should be able to work offline, but if I'd be making them, I would severely limit their offline capabilities. Dr. Know-It-All asked, what hardware and/or software is currently inadequate for your needs? Is this solvable near term, a known unknown that's engineering problem, or an unknown unknown? You need to figure out what it is to even start to solve it. Answer, hey John, great channel. Everyone listening to this, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Connecting the Dots. But once you're done watching, also go to Dr. Know-It-All's channel and sub there. You said currently, so I have to draw a line between our legacy projects and our new direction. For legacy, my pet peeve is that Python doesn't support block comments. That's not exactly inadequate, but very frustrating. Also, building our own training hardware was a dead end. Extremely inadequate because we crunch lots of data, so we need lots of power. But GPUs are in short supply and electricity is expensive. We moved to AWS, which is pricey but adequate, and we're now trying Azure, which is nice. But that's looking in the back mirror. Looking forward, most frustrating is lack of excellent people. It's hard getting the right ones. A known unknown is we're building on Tesla winning the AGI bot, so we don't have a timeline for it. We don't know which way their journey will take them. We're preparing for a world with bots, and we don't know how this world will look like and how the bots will be. And most risky thing we're planning on is to build a few things that Tesla will need for the bot, but they won't be doing themselves in the near future. This means that when they'll start with it, they'll see we already have it ready for them. The best analogy for this is that the next Olympics are in Paris, and you plan on opening refreshment stands at the specific time and place that the marathon will pass there. You have no idea where and when it'll pass, and nobody will tell you. It's possible that even they don't know at this stage, so you guess the route and hope for the best. If you're right, you win. But if you're on the wrong street, or a bit too late, or maybe they already open stands by themselves, you're left with almost zero ROI. So we have too many known unknowns, and certainly many unknown unknowns. It's the riskiest game we're playing, so it's not our main one. But if we're right, then we helped AGI and did something good. You asked how we're keeping our best guys? That's how. Trust me, working with us is more exciting than working directly on the bot. Not for the faint of heart, but as crazy as it seems, I do believe we can pull it off. I can't show you why I think that. All I can say is our investors are backing this and that nobody's leaving us now. We're hiring. Before going to the next question, I'd like to add an inadequacy of my own, which is that we have to create things instead of just giving general requirements. AI can do lots of things, but we have to work to achieve them. GPT-3 can write simple code, but not very complex one. I'm waiting for the day when GPT-N will write by itself a GPT-N+1. That's what I call adequate. But till then, we're all just plowing the fields. Radoslav Modilinsky asked, do you see Elon more as Paul, Lido 2, or Norma Sinva? Answer, wow, you have some great questions today. It's tempting to say that he's Paul because he's a great leader, and he could be Kwisatz Haderach, but this is misleading. At his core, Elon is a true engineer, a creator of cool things, and so is Norma. And Elon's working on our first interplanetary vessels, while Norma designed the first guild ship. There are also great correlations in her controlling the ship with brain implants, while Elon's making Neuralink, and in her having 5 children, closest of all to Elon's offspring. Never thought of this analogy. Great question, really. Bruno Maley asked, how dangerous could AI get before AGI? Answer, how dangerous is a nuclear bomb? Dedicated AI can excel at things it's set out to do, and used in the wrong hands, it could collapse the economy, cause massive floods and other natural disasters, and cause huge destruction. The main difference from AGI is that with specific AI, it's the humans behind it that I fear with AI, just giving them a more powerful gun, so to speak. While with AGI, it's the machines themselves that I fear, and we have no way to know how they'll behave. Hug your toaster, guys. It might give you a better score once AGI arrives. Bruno Maley asked, will Dojo 1 be enough for generalized FSD? Answer, my guess is they don't even need Dojo to get to level 4 FSD. Their NVIDIA clusters should be enough. Dojo could help though, if they scale it soon enough to be larger than their NVIDIA cluster. I would love to use it to train my own toys, but not holding my breath for that. They'll always want to make it public, but they will always delay doing so because their own uses will outpace their production, and they wouldn't want to waste time on making a public service or product when even if it reaches AWS-size revenues, this would be small change compared to their other business lines. Cooked Stew and Mando Boyban asked, have you ever witnessed or researched on other autonomous driving companies? How is their approach compared to Tesla's? And do you foresee any issues with Tesla's approach? Answer, full disclosure is I don't work on autonomous driving. We do other things with AI. However, we do use similar technologies. I constantly keep myself up to date, and I have my friends in some places, so I do know a lot about the tech, a bit less about the companies, and almost zero about Chinese contenders. I won't go into many details because we already discussed this, but unless you're trying to get the car to drive in situations such as heavy fog where people can't safely drive, you'd be much better off without LiDAR and radar. Elon says they're a crutch, but he's too kind, really. A better analogy is that they're more like an extra small jockstrap, and this analogy is good for 2 reasons. The first is that like a jockstrap, it provides you peace of mind, keeping your stuff safe and secure as you move around. And the second is that it's extra small. So if you have tiny little balls, you feel nice and cozy, but if your balls are bigger, you'll find it's too tight, and instead of helping, it slows you down. And after justifying my bad girl reputation with you, I'll answer more conventionally and say that I fully support Tesla's approach. Basically, it's a matter of deciding which problem you want to solve. If you want to enable driving in situations where people cannot drive, such as heavy fog, then you probably need radar and LiDAR. But using them also means that it'll take you forever to reach a safe level of driving even in normal driving situations. What people fail to realize is that adding data complicates the dataset. In addition, it's very hard to keep data coming from these sensors clean. What this means is that instead of working on an already large dataset from vision alone, you start working on much larger datasets with lots of misleading data that makes you doubt the vision data itself. Just like I said before with that gross tiny jockstrap example, this makes progress much harder. This really isn't just a matter of let's add some data and it might help us, because adding this data holds you back. IDBMS, or William asked, what do you think of Elon's use of AI at Tesla and SpaceX to do what is essentially agile story points and priority? How would you productize something like that for other companies? Answer: this is why I love doing these conversations with you. So many good data points. Productizing, this makes a whole lot of sense, because after watching the Joe Justice videos you sent me, we're in a flurry of making this for our own company, and an off-the-shelf product would have helped. I'll tell you things we're doing, but it's all modular, so it's very productized by itself, and could fit other companies. We won't sell it, but if William or someone else makes it, my guess is Palantir, there will be a market. Anyway, it all starts with collecting all the data, and I mean all the data we generate. Everything from work hours and minutes spent by each person on each task, training database, training array hardware and settings, how long the training took, measured in seconds, not hours, how much it cost us, neural network control group size, quality of training results, parameters used, objective and possibly subjective scores for everything, success or failure flag, reasons for score, problems, etc. Everything you could possibly think of involving performance, sizes, time, cost, quality, quantity, you name it. And you need to enable setting goals and figures of merit. You need to enable manual goal setting, but also as data accumulates, you need the AI to start determining goals. You need the input to be highly automated. In many cases, you won't even put input yourself. It will just flow as you do your work, but often you'll select or say what you're doing, and the AI will take it from there. It should enable input of audio, video, numbers, texts, tags, etc., and connect everything to the AI. And human I/O must be quick and easy. Painless, really. I want it to be so if you wake up at home with an idea, you can just send a message from your phone, and it won't just enter your to-do list or sticky notes. It will immediately get routed to the right place in the database for the AI to munch on. And you need to show bottlenecks along the way and limiting factors, and make it easily displayed on cell phones so people can see what they need to do. Just like goal setting, you should enable manual input of these bottlenecks, and you should also let the AI determine them. It should also be able to give info and scores about the benefits per unit of change that freeing up the bottlenecks will provide. It should all flow from costs and work on one side to profits and other benefits on the other, and you should let everyone see everything. Since it doesn't cost much, you can also implement personal privileges and employee-level privileges. In our case, our structure is flat, and once you're in, you become part of us, and we trust you. So we'll only use it for suppliers. But I do see other companies wanting that until they get to free their mind. Use simple graphics, heat maps, enable multiple views. I said I want everything on my smartphone, not just for that moment I wake up at night, but also for regular everyday work. Smartphones are yesterday's supercomputers, and they are great for I/O and always with you. And if you need someone to see, you can always cast it to a nearby screen. As I said, we are deep into configuring it. I clearly see the benefits it gives Tesla, and I'm not waiting till we grow larger to add this. It's best to implement this when we're still small, and then rapidly update it as we learn from mistakes and grow. As I said, because this thing is so flexible, if you make it good for one company, it will already be productized and ready to sell to others. Bruno Maley asked, how long ago could the AI revolution have started? Answer: I'm not quite sure that I got the meaning here. If you're asking what point in time I consider as the beginning of the AI revolution, I'd say September 2012 when AlexNet won the ImageNet challenge. This was the first time that our neural network provided non-shitty results in object recognition, and it opened the floodgates to everything we now see. There were huge milestones before and after that, of course. For example, Deep Blue winning over Kasparov in 1997. But for me, AI revolution mostly means processing vision, and AlexNet is where that started. If you're asking whether it could have started earlier, I'd say no. Knowledge is growing exponentially, and so are computing hardware, tools, and languages. While we are climbing towards the shoulders of those preceding us, we already have others climbing onto our shoulders. It's a rapid, never-ending game, and AlexNet needed the previous cutting edge to be able to make its own contribution. So, to sum this up, by me, the AI revolution started with AlexNet in 2012, and it couldn't have started much earlier. Bruno Maley asked, do you think transition from AI to AGI is a smooth continuum or has radical steps? Answer, it will behave just like other disruptive technologies, meaning it all depends on the level of zoom you're using. There will certainly be radical steps along the way because everything is new, so there's lots of breakthroughs that catapult everybody forward. But look at the big picture several years from now. It will look just like a smooth continuum. You won't even notice the changes. JP asked, what in the interview changed your understanding of Tesla, and what do you see as the probable impacts of those changes? Answer, if you're asking about the Lex Fridman interview, then nothing at all. It hasn't changed my view of Tesla one bit. It did change, however, my view of Elon. The guy is the real deal. I know how to read people, I know what makes them tick, and I'm telling you that this guy is the real deal. But if you're asking about AI Day, then what struck me most was how serious they are about AGI, how attractive they became with the bot project to anyone working in AI, how they'll become a powerhouse in developing AI, and how close they are to producing bots that will work in the factories. This is crucial. When I posted the rant after AI Day, I realized how big of a magnet they will become for AI talent, but I wasn't fully aware how close they are to factory bot. Knowing that now is breathtaking. This not only excites me as a once-in-a-lifetime investment or as an opportunity for my firm to grow larger than anyone here ever dreamt, it also excites me as a citizen of this world, because the changes we are going to see from this single product will change the world as we know it, more than the steam engine, internal combustion engine, rockets, airplanes, computers, smartphones, or the internet. Anyone that thinks they know how the world will look like after the bots arrive are fooling themselves. I don't pretend to know what would happen. All I know is this is beyond our wildest imagination, and this is one world that I want to live in, and before that, to help build. I asked, after you ranted about Tesla in your Facebook, I asked if I could post it on my Twitter, and you said it would crowdsource your thinking. How did this help you? Answer, it was extremely effective. I ranted because I faced a real problem of how to react to Tesla's declaration of war. I mean, it's not war against us, we're just a speck. But AI Day was the most brilliant AI recruitment event I ever saw. It placed them on the map and made them a huge magnet for drawing the best of the best to come work for them. If I want the best of the best myself, this means they just moved my pie. So how do I get my share back? When you posted my rant on your Twitter, made your videos, they got lots of comments, some of which will probably make us hundreds of millions of dollars. I am serious. Many of your readers said I should go work for Elon. That's a great idea, except for two things. The first is I'm against monopolies, so if Tesla is set to become CHOAM, I can't work for them. Imagine a world with Apple and iOS, but no Samsung and Android. Kinda sucks if you ask me, so I'll never directly work for Elon. I set up my mind and ignore these comments. But sometimes it takes a kick in the butt to open my mind to things, and that was a tweet by some guy that said I should decide what I want. If I want to make the world better, I should go work for Elon. But if I want to own a business, with all the good AI guys going away, there's always lawn care. I remember you thought that was rude, like someone telling a young Elon he should work for Netscape or Apple, or go work on lawns. But for me, that reply was the kick in the butt that I needed. The tweet said I should go work for Elon, and as I said, I'd never do that. But that's just me, and unless I do something drastic, my guys won't say that, and they'll leave. Look, everybody wants to work for Tesla because they are saving the world. Previously, I had a case saying that so are we, but after AI Day, I realized that the only way we can remain attractive for the bestest of the bestest is if we make working for us more important than working on TeslaBot. But how do I make working for us more important than working on the fucking bot? I realized I was asking the wrong question. Tesla isn't doing the bot so they could get excellent people to work for them. They are hiring excellent people so they could do the bot. Same thing for me. Instead of asking, how do I retain and hire, I should go back to basics and ask, what's the best, most kick-ass thing I can do with our small company? After lots of brainstorming, we came up with a two-pronged effort. One thing we're doing is designed to help Tesla reach an AGI bot faster. It's a huge gamble. What I previously said about setting up refreshment stands without knowing if, when, and where they'll be needed, but I think we're on the right track for it. And crazily enough, my CEO and board believe I'm right. And the other thing is less risky. Like it or not, we're heading towards a world full of bots with various levels of generalized intelligence, and we're steering our company to provide solutions for this brave new world. We may not be large, but we're smart and dedicated, And to the best of my knowledge, we're the only company that's going pedal to the metal towards this remote goal. In a way, it's like early Tesla, which were proactive and only made EVs, while legacy OEMs made ICE and only raised EV targets gradually and reactively. Similarly, the entire world will eventually react and start working with bots, but we are already going full speed on that from December 21 onward. Tesla bots will be a tsunami. It will plow forward and change our world for the better. So first, we're packing a few tricks up our sleeve, which should help accelerate the AGI bot. And then once AGI bot is here, we'll be better prepared than anyone else, except possibly Tesla, for this world of humans and bots. You see, we were asking the wrong question. Fuck, how do we get people to stay with us when Tesla is better? It's much better to look forward and dream as big as you dare. Then double your dare and set up to work full speed on making these dreams a reality. Our board has confidence we can do it, our investors are excited, our guys are ecstatic, and we've started hiring again. Forget us for a moment though. With or without us, Tesla will make the bot and the world will spin different. I'm hyper excited about this. How about you? We're halfway through the questions and my mind is spinning fast, dreaming the infinite possibilities this brave new world will open. So now is a good time to end this video. The next video with all the remaining questions and answers will be published soon. Meanwhile, let me know in the comments what you think. Will Tesla win the race for AGI bot, or will it be someone else? Are you excited towards this world of humans and bots, or are you fearful of it? And what would you rather do? Own an intelligent bot, or be its friend? Let me know below. I read all your comments. A huge shout out to my latest patrons, Jeremy Beitler, Sub-Zero Texas, The Anonymous Guy, and Alexandra M. And to all my patrons, you guys rock. You can follow me on Twitter, where I am connecting no dots. Until next time, I am connecting the dots, and you are amazing. I asked her to sum AI Day for me in one sentence. She answered, it was brilliant. Absolutely f***ing brilliant. I asked her to elaborate. The reason she said it was brilliant wasn't the tech. She can talk about that later. But if I ask her about any event, she has to judge it by the metrics of how well it served the reasons for throwing it. In this case, recruiting top AI professionals. And AI Day was absolutely f***ing brilliant. Because although right now it isn't well known, the word is spreading, and there's buzz on professional forums, so people watch it. And just about anyone who watches it would be dying to work there. And even if someone doesn't see it, but Tesla cherry picks them, all Tesla needs to do is send them a link, and they'll be sold. Tesla wants to hire the best people, and AI Day will give them that. It was absolutely f***ing brilliant. The conversation jumped across topics, but I'll try to reorganize it here in a few sections. And the first is hiring. Or rather, that Tesla is about to break the global AI designer Piggy bank. I said that she treats Tesla hiring good people as a problem for the AI scene. How much of a problem is it? She said it's a huge problem. There's huge demand for AI programmers, and although supply is constantly growing, it's not growing nearly as fast as demand is. And that's in AI, guys, general. The problem gets bigger if you want good or even exceptional AI designers. There simply aren't enough, and this matters. To help me understand what she means, she gave me an example. Imagine AI guys are like drivers, and you need one to take you from London to Paris. Most AI people are noobs, fresh from their studies, and you need to guide them a lot. Remind them that in England they have to drive on the left, but once in France they need to stick to the right, etc. Fewer than this are competent professionals who can get you safely from London to Paris. They won't necessarily take the quickest or best route, but they'll get you there. And there are even fewer really good AI designers. These are like cab drivers and a race driver combined. They'll find the quickest way out of town, zoom along the roads, and enable you to arrive quickly. Not many people are like this, and all the top companies want them, and Tesla will take as many of these as they want. She let it soak in, and then added that Tesla will take a lot of really good ones, but they're not the ones she's mostly concerned about. What worries her most are the rare exceptional ones. If real good ones are cabbies and race driver mongrels that find the best roads and drive on them faster than anyone else, the exceptional outliers are something completely different. They are like fighter pilots waiting for you in a VTOL fighter, know where you want to go before you finish saying it, and then take you there in a quick, straight line that they carve themselves. For example, think Karpathy and the progress he brought to Tesla. She said that getting exceptional AI designers is a huge problem, and even getting very good ones is hard. She suggested that if I want to get really rich, I should write some AI that locates exceptional AI designers earlier than current headhunting, and then refer these guys to her and to other companies for a finder's fee, whether they sign up or not. Whomever makes such AI will make a killing on commissions. Anyway, she worked hard to get to a position where she can get people like that to work for her, and AI Days made it clear that this will soon change. I said she referred to Tesla as CHOAM and asked her to elaborate. How much does she see Tesla growing? 10x? 100x? She said in a contemplating tone, and I quote, 10x? No. 100x? 1000x? 10,000x? Unlimited, really? We can't even grasp how big they can get. You know, it's hard to imagine because we never had anything this big in our entire history. That's why I called them CHOAM. It's the only thing I could compare them to, so that people would get how big this size is from the future. It's science fiction. So the second topic we'll deal with is how big Tesla will get. With such a huge outlook, I asked her to explain what makes her believe that Tesla will grow this much. Before giving her answer, I'd like to add that recently, a few guys on Tesla Twitter started getting the idea that Tesla and the entire global economy could have endless growth because of the bot offering an endless stream of labor. Shout out to Stephen Mark Ryan, Dave Lee, and Bruce Burnsworth. But besides my friend saying this right after AI Day, try to notice how for her, the bot is only one piece of the puzzle. She also gave another reason, and the interplay of both is astounding. So here's what she said. They'll grow that big because it's capitalism 101, owning the means of production. Capitalism was formed when there were fewer jobs than potential workers, so it focused on how capital, or money, lets you own the machines and factories, which were the limiting factor of production. If at the time there was a surplus of machines and not enough workers, labor would become the limiting factor of production, and capital would enable you to hire workers for your machines. While your competitors' machines remain idle. Capital lets you have both machines and workers, but the idea remains the same. Those who own all limiting factors of production win over those who don't. Most people don't realize it yet, but the economy is becoming heavily dependent on AI. Everything will soon have AI. Your smartphone, your car, your fridge and washing machine, and even your kids' toys. But only a few realize the shortage there is in good AI designers. So sure, even low-rent AI engineers can make simple toys, but for advanced stuff, you need real smart designers, and there is a huge shortage in them. She then told me that she feels that every time she mentions AI hiring pains, I get anxious and want to get back to Tesla. So I should bear with her. She has a point, and it's not just her thinking this. It is a huge problem worldwide, and it directly relates to why Tesla will succeed. Going back to quoting her, there is a global shortage in AI designers, and they are becoming the limiting factor of production. Continuing the capitalism argument, this means that those who are able to get good AI people will win. Now tell me, do you know how many people are in Tesla's AI team? I told her the vision team is about 20 guys. Okay, I guess we can agree at least some of them are exceptional. Now imagine there were 2 Tesla companies starting work on FSD at the same time. And the only difference between these companies is that Tesla A has 20 exceptional AI designers, including Karpathy, while Tesla B only has 1 exceptional guy, which isn't Karpathy, plus anything between 20 to 2,000 very good engineers. I have no doubt that Tesla B could succeed someday, but Tesla A would be years ahead of Tesla B on FSD, and will reach it at a fraction of the cost. Tesla B would become irrelevant. That's why I said AI designers are becoming the limiting factor. Before AI Day, Tesla was a small magnet for AI talent because most people didn't even know it was an AI company, and those that did perceived it as a car company before all. Tesla's magnet was small, and other companies have magnets too. Google has them, I have them, we all have our magnets. So outliers often preferred working at a pure software play like Google, or do something sexy to save the planet like we're doing here. But things have changed. Tesla slammed its magnet to the ground mid-field, and made a magnet much denser, and it will soon start pulling talent from all around. And the more they pull, the denser they will be. So there's even a risk of it turning into a black hole that sucks up any talent they have their sights on. Google and Facebook, and even us, will all manage to get some great talent, but as a whole, Tesla will be a quantum leap ahead of everyone. They don't need to take too much. Just getting 100 of the best 500 AI designers worldwide to work with a mission will make them unbeatable. Add to that they will probably train their networks on the best training computer, and really, nobody will catch them. It is very clear that Tesla is adamant on becoming the leading AI company and solving artificial general intelligence, AGI. This means a lot to anyone working in AI, so Tesla will get the cream of the crop. It goes like this. A. Tesla will own better talent than others, so it will win AI and it will win capitalism. B. A lot of that AI effort will go to the bot project, and they will also have the best training platform with Dojo, so they might be first with bot. I have no idea what their sales strategy will be, but my guess is at first they'll use it internally in their plants, then later sell it for specific purposes, such as a factory worker, and it will take some time before they finally sell a GP bot. You don't need a fully intelligent robot to do factory work. You just need it to learn specific tasks, so that should come first. Factory bots have an infinite total addressable market because each one is worth the total expenses on 3 shifts of workers 24/7 for several years, or much more if it works faster. And you can get them to do jobs you couldn't do before. There really are no limits. This is CHOAM. By the way, everyone looks forward for the GP bot that will walk their dog and take care of their parents, but listen carefully to what Elon said the bot is for. From what he said, it's clear that the bot is for stuff like factories, mining, and Mars. I have no doubt that a healthcare and groceries bot could arrive down the road, but the focus is elsewhere. Now, guys, listen carefully to the next one. Quoting her again. By the way, your Elon always talks about speeding up the pace of the production line, which is currently moving at speeds set when Henry Ford was in charge. It's the pace humans can do stuff. But imagine how fast the line could go if robots thread wires and install dashboards twice as fast, or maybe 10 times as fast as humans. And you don't even need smart robots for that. I have no idea how many cars their plants can currently make, but choose a factor and multiply to start spitting cars out at speed. There are huge gains for Tesla Auto. But I'm diverging. Even if it sells all the cars in the world, Tesla Auto is small change compared to the other stuff. C. What I said about the bot seems a bit static, as in, they make an obedient bot, then a smart bot, then a GP bot, and that's it. But in fact, it's far from that. There is also a flywheel effect, because having the best AI team means far more than just being first with robot. It also means having more capable robots down the road, and it lets you do other stuff, such as develop other kinds of AI. The robot is about perceiving the world and knowing what to do in every situation. But they can also develop AGI thinking machines, either stationary or in robot, to enhance decision-making. Initial robots can replace line workers, but AGI will enable replacing engineers and even management. They'll even replace the AI engineers. It's alien dreadnought on steroids. AI designing even better AI and even better factories which are unmanned by robots. Tesla could end up with a semi-monopoly on AI, on production means, and even the production means of production means. Sure, all this is extremely down the road, but even the first portion, which will happen soon, can be a complete game changer. Drilling it down to Tesla stock and descending probabilities, they will become a much stronger AI company. Long term, this should send the stock to the moon. If they own AI, this should send the stock to Mars. If they are first with useful bots, it will take them to the edge of the solar system. And if they win thinking machines, this will make the NASDAQ irrelevant. There will be only Tesla or CHOAM. I asked her what probabilities she sees for these scenarios. She said the chances for the scenarios are being a world-class force in AI, over 90%. It's a done deal. Owning AI as a semi-monopoly ahead of others, 50%. Bots and AGI thinking machines, who knows, probably 20% or maybe 10%, but even a 1% chance on infinity makes this an irresistible long-term investment. And then she added that these numbers are gut feelings, but toned down a lot to be on the conservative side. Her gut feeling, which she learned to trust, is that everything up to bots and AGI is almost a done deal, because it's not just about having the best AI designers. Quoting her again, getting the best AI people is one thing, but Tesla are also laser-focused and committed. It's a bit like how Blue Origin are dawdling while SpaceX quickly deliver. Having the best AI team, running with focus and commitment, is unbeatable. So assuming Elon is okay and nothing bad happens, she knows they'll do the impossible, and it's almost a done deal. With investments at stake, I asked her whether we're just having a bullshit theoretical talk, or should I trust these numbers? Taken back, she said she's dead serious about it, and nothing she told me is bullshit theory. This is real. I shouldn't trust any of her numbers. They're only based on gut feelings she had after AI Day, and she's not giving any financial advice. However, she also has another set of numbers that she can't give me, because they reached it after putting in a lot of work. The leadership team of her company all watched AI Day several times, both separately and together, analyzed and brainstormed the hell out of everything, and came up with a set of probabilities high enough that they are about to bet the entire future of their company on Tesla succeeding in making the bot and possibly AGI. If Tesla succeeds, her company will be huge, but if Tesla fails, they'll be smaller than where previous plans could have taken them. To explain this leap of faith, she turned the table on me and started asking me a few questions. Listen up, this one is huge. She asked me, what is Elon most obsessed with? I answered efficiency, which wasn't what she expected. So to speed things up, she spoon-fed me. What does Tesla Automotive cherish more than making the car itself? I answered that it's making the machine that makes the machine. She said, and I quote, right. And more important than that is the machine that makes the machine that makes the machine, etc. But let's define make. Everyone's thinking about the robot as replacing line workers and healthcare providers for the elderly, etc. And some realize there's a huge market for that. If they're smart, they'll also see that robots replacing humans in the factory makes the factory itself an alien dreadnought, a fully automated machine that takes in supplies and spits out cars. But that's still a small part of the Pandora's box that Tesla plans to open. I repeat, a small part. I talked about AI designers enabling Tesla to win the race. You asked me why I call them designers instead of engineers or developers like everyone else does, and I'm sure you assume that it's because I put the design part as most important. True, but that's only part of it. And the real answer is that just like high-end handbags, AI is currently a designer product. You need talented people to work hard for many hours to produce results. Even mediocre designers can produce very nice handbags, but it takes the ultra-gifted ones, like at Louis Vuitton, to consistently design extremely beautiful handbags, a few rungs above everyone else. I used Louis Vuitton as an example because I heard their owner just became the world's richest man. But honestly, I have no idea how good these bags are. So if you quote me, maybe ask my wife who makes the best bags nowadays and use that instead. Anyway, back on topic. Just like handbags, exceptionally gifted designers are hard to find, and so every company, Tesla included, is limited by the number of great designers they can get. No, wait. Let's broaden it now from AI design to other fields. Tesla is also limited by the number of great non-AI engineers they can get, the number of great car designers they get, etc. No matter how hard these guys work, there's only so much work that each can do. But you always say that you're waiting for GPT-N to make GPT-N plus 1. And this is what I'm talking about. If Elon gets the best AI team, then sure, they will work on a bot to replace line workers. But they will also work on AI that will replace engineers, car designers, and even AI designers. And I'm betting on Tesla because you know my saying that if you don't set your 10-year goals and plan for them, you sure as hell aren't going to achieve them. Tesla has a track record in this. Tesla was the only company to plan on mass-producing EVs 10 years later, and they reached that. And they are one of a few companies to plan on autonomous driving, and will soon reach that too. Now it plans on making the bot, and I'm pretty sure that also AGI, so they're in a good position to achieve that. Now ask yourself these two questions. 1. Look back on your own work and think, what percentage of your work as an engineer, and I know you're exceptional, could someday be done better by AI? And 2, which company is most likely to try to automate parts of its engineering effort, with AI first serving as a huge force multiplier for its engineers, and later possibly replacing them altogether? She left it open so it would sink in, and we moved on. But